Joke stuff.
Now, this is a combination, come on, baby, work. A combination of masterpiece and masterpiece. Do you know what the heck we're doing here, Adam?
I'm guessing that that's your urine you've nebulized, and
Yes.
you're inhaling it.
Yes, and do you know why this nebulizer stands out among all nebulizers?
No.
It has a mesh in it. It's called a mesh nebulizer. So it's able to bring the particulates down to vapor size like this. So you can get it into higher regions of the brain and sinus and throat. You wouldn't do it with a thicker particulate or a liquid.
Okay.
It vaporizes it.
A mesh nebulizer. Okay.
Now,
Yeah, it doesn't heat it either. And in general, people try to stay away from heating, like boiling, or although it won't be it won't be as alive, but I think you still get all the basic components of it chemically, even if it's boiled. So you can't really go wrong with it, even if you heat it. But some people don't like to.
Yeah.
plus, if you'll experiment it, hold on, Em. If you experiment, you'll find that it's great for exfoliating the skin, soothing irritated eyes that are strained from looking at a screen. And just the neat thing about basically urine therapy in general, it's an intuitive situation. It's a personal relationship you have with your water. And it'll give you all kinds of ideas, creative ways to use it, and new imaginative ways that you can apply it topically as well as orally and turn your health around.
I've heard of people using it as eye drops, using it in their eyes.
Definitely.
Have you had any improvements in your vision, or known of anybody who's been able to improve their vision like that?
Yeah, we got lots of instances where people are either using an eye cup, you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a shot glass, but it's designed to create a suction over the eyeball. They've talked about getting rid of floaters, cataracts, improving night vision, all kinds of health problems with the eyes. Now, a lot of these testimonials you can either find at Shivambu Hut, or Shirley's Wellness Cafe has testimonials galore, not only human testimonials, but pets.
Yeah, vision is a deep thing, and Emily's going on a healing her vision journey. But I think, there's such a couple different, anyway, I just want to bring that. Yeah, Emily.
Right on. So this is today's urine therapy Q&A call. I'm your host, Brother Sage, and these are some of the lovely water brothers and sisters who have graced the screen today. And did everybody, we're going to get started here in just a minute. Do you guys have time for an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So did everybody bring refreshments?
Have metabolic magic in tea right here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I got some stuff in it too, but it is.
All right, Adam, did you bring refreshments?
I drank mine earlier. I don't have any more.
No problem. Do you have something like a glass or a cup you could hold up to symbolize we're doing a communion? I mean, worst case scenario, some people held their hand up like they were a cup. Emily, would it embarrass you if I asked you if you would be willing to give us a prayer?
I'll do it.
That's my girl. Okay. All right, Adam, we're going to have our opening prayer by my beloved daughter here, Emily. She's going to start us off.
Okay. Well, right here we have this beautiful sacred geometry, and we bless it with our laughter and piss. And thank you, Lord Shiva, for granting us with your prayers and directing us where life can meet us with beautiful souls. Om Shanti Shanti.
Shanti Shanti, so be it. Lovely way to start today.
That was my first time ever giving it, by the way. So
yeah, practice, practice, practice. You had it when you switched from here to here.
Yeah.
So you know where that path goes anyway.
Good job. Good job.
Adam, you want to start us off with any questions? It could be anything about how to use it. What are the protocols? What are the benefits? What's the secret sauce? How do you talk to newbies when they're really disgusted about it? Any questions you might have? You've come to the purveyor of encyclopedias. I kind of know this subject, so go right ahead.
I have some aged urine, and I've used it a little bit topically, but it's just sitting on the shelf getting, darker and darker. Are there any ways to use that internally that are recommended? Or I have some that's aged about 2 years, and I only use it a little bit topically. I've thought about using it for my scalp.
Yeah. Well, you can use it, definitely you could topically, hold on, Chida. You could use it topically or you can use it orally. It gets darker. We have a friend of mine, Dr. Mike Whittord, and he brought his 12-year-old with him, and it was like almost pitch dark, but it didn't have the aroma of ammonia, and it tasted just fine. It enriches the mineral content and the stem cell content, and people don't necessarily how to interpret that because our mind judges it. So follow your gut feelings, and you could use it any way you want to. Just know that if you put it in your eyes and up your nose, there might be a 3-second sting.
Yeah, it's really alkaline, isn't it?
Yeah, some of them are up to 13 and 14 pH. Yep.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, who's next? Chida? Or
Yeah, I bet that alkalinity plus, the ammonia kind of wears off after a while because the ammonia is part of the evolving and self-cleaning process. I think I've been able to tie the ammonia into the self-cleaning aspect, actually, from observations with like a large tub of urine and filtering it out with cheesecloth. It would then smell less like ammonia, and then it would smell more like ammonia, and then it would form mucus. And then the ammonia smell would leave with the mucus as I took the mucus out. So the ammonia has something to do with the immune system-like process that urine puts itself through to like purify itself, literally like chemically, like trap poisons and eliminate it from itself. And so you get an extremely like, like purified, but in a living sense, like it's a self-living purifying thing. Very beautiful. Yeah.
it is. And did that answer your question, Adam?
Is it important to remove the semi-solid stuff that's at the bottom of aged urine? Does that have any role, or is that just?
I got kind of like a nice common sort of like middle ground here. So I siphon the stuff off the top and leave the sediment at the bottom. So it's giving its energetic presence or otherwise to the urine constantly, but you can just take off the top so you don't dose with a bunch of that. I find it's something the body likes to reject. The body kind of gets, like if you use it in an enema, the either the high ammonia stuff or the high sediment stuff, that and the high pH, all those things make the enema want to leave the rectum if you put it in. I bet the pH is probably actually the hardest core thing with that. Although I do find that like super old urine is somehow more gentle and easier in a diluted enema than like 6 months. Like, yeah.
So did you get that, Adam? There's a lot of people who tell you that the white stuff is concentrated nutrients, concentrated stem cells. That's a lot of concentration. And several people, myself included, have taken the time to dry it out and make it into a crystalline powder form, which some people claim is Ormus gold. Emily.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to I haven't aged mine in a while, quite some time, just from moving around a bit. But I would take the crystalline structure that would sit at the bottom, and you basically just get your dropper and you can snort it. If you take a little bit, mix it like with how it's like aged and then take the crystals with it because it'll be easier to get up your nose. I would actually prefer snorting it instead of using it as eye drops. And it just feels like you're getting high. Not that I know what that is. But yeah, it's like life force. You're
Yeah.
high on life, you're high on yourself, your body.
So you've dried the material that gathers at the bottom, and it turns into a crystalline form, and then you pulverized it, and then you use that.
Sometimes it's already crystallized. Like it looks like it's more it like the looks like it's what do you call like fluffy kind of like looks like mucus actually, but it's not, I don't believe.
It's not viscous. It's just powdery. It's
Mhm.
crusty. You can actually use your finger or a brush and scrape it off. Some people use it like a half-inch pie pan or something. They leave it out in the windowsill or out in the sun.
Like, I think there's got to be some of it that is part of the self-cleaning mechanism. Now, whether it's part of the self-cleaning that doesn't have any implication on its health benefits, actually, like, it could just be the most excellent distillation of everything that's wrong with you and be very powerful. Or it could be stem cells, or it could be both. Either way, it's definitely got some kind of medicinal power. It's got a potency that I think that's a little hard to manage, in fact.
Adam, you want to reply to that, or are you
Have
satisfied?
people smoked it?
I'm
I
sure
think
somebody has.
I thought I'd heard something about that. People smoking the residual from aged urine and it having trace amounts of DMT in it.
If anyone would try it, it would be Matt and I. Because
Yeah.
we've done everything in the book so far together.
I mean, actually, you can get yourself like really high while also giving yourself a fever, which is kind of terrifying. It's very potent by nebulizing a bunch of aged urine. You really make yourself very sick, like with a fever, high fever, and then you'll be hallucinating too. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
for
long
sure.
do you nebulize it in your nose?
I've never gotten terribly far on that because it's so potent. You could take aged that black stuff and nebulize it in a mesh nebulizer for 30 seconds and probably start getting chills in your body like you're gonna have a fever or get the flu. Yeah.
Intuitive medicine. Go slow.
Go slow. There's no hurry. Everybody wants the quick remedy. Everybody wants to get healed. I get that. But you've used your entire life eating whatever, however you ate, and you either dealt with your emotions or you didn't. That's another form of toxicity. How well we work with our emotions to get to where you are today. So yeah, be patient and kind on yourself.
Hmm.
And also the things that makes the urine work. People ask the question all the time, and you guys, we usually when I teach, it's about you guys thinking about how you're going to present it to other people. I think Chitta's getting this way. It's multi-generational teaching. It's not just one-on-one.
Yeah, it's about starting a coherent vocabulary. I really admire Sage's books. So we can get the tribe on the same page. Now, that could be very dogmatic, but I mean, thank God, I think Sage is like, there's no dogma in urine therapy. If there's anything that like I want to push, is that there's no dogma with urine therapy.
There's no dogma, there's no rules, there's no obligations. There's no fee, there's no sign up.
Brother Sage has made a dictionary of piscabulary. And this is the book. So there's P loved, P male, P amazing, P mendus. But anyways, no.
Anyway, Adam, what were we talking about? We had a bunch of content just tossed up there.
Well, when trying to present it to other people,
Yeah.
there's definitely the disgust reaction that people have, and almost like a complete block to that. Like at that, they're like, nope. And that's okay. I mean, it's their call. I know that the path that took me to being willing to practice urine therapy was real extreme,
Mhm.
you know, and so it's not surprising that people would have a like
Reaction.
they'd react and then they'd completely just fold to their reaction like it was the truth. Um, like that's not surprising.
Yeah,
But
well,
like,
that's not the end of the story there.
okay,
First of all, it's your level of confidence and certainty that gets transferred to the person even before you open your mouth. Right? If you're not concerned about a yes or a no response, then you're just a messenger and you're just basically delivering the message. You with me so far?
hmm
Okay. So whatever they say, I mean, in my books, I teach you how to reply, how to respond to these people, because they only know what they've been led to believe was true. So when the first thing that if you hear them saying, well, everybody knows it's a waste product, it's disgusting, your body eliminates it. The first question that should come out of your mouth, Adam, is where did you get that idea from? Because you find out that people are like robots or zombies. They just repeat what they're told and they don't do a deep dive into research on it. We did. Does that make sense? And I'll explain why all these people are looking at urine therapy. Did that answer your question? Your
yeah,
job,
it gave
your
me a way to
job,
think about it.
go ahead.
Oh, it gave me a new way to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, your job is to plant a seed in their mind, not to change their way of beliefs. But you can show them, yeah, this is true. You have confidence in it. And sometimes what people do is they feel like they're saying no to them. They take it personal instead of they're saying no to the opportunity. Is to use third-party testimonials, which could either be a social media platform, any of my books, recordings, writings. So that doesn't put you in the light. They're looking at the material and go, wow, this guy is not just saying this, there's something behind it. So what I was going to say is there are millions and millions of people on the planet, probably we're at the billion mark right now, that realize that the medical industry is a fake and has been lying to us and hurting us and killing us for generations. So they're ripe for looking at alternative ways to take care of their health and their well-being. And what's on the scene right now? Urine therapy. I mean, thanks to people like Dr. Group and Dr. Artis and Christopher Keys, the vaccine police, David Wolf, myself, Rodney Levoyer, Lori Ladd, Amanda Vollmer, these names you may or may not know. They're putting their reputation and their voice and their practice on the line because they know what this is.
Andrew Norton Weber.
Andrew Norton Weber, who's still alive in our hearts, wherever he is. So this is a perfect time to put aside your considerations, anxieties, fears, any of that stuff, and be bold. Okay?
Mm.
You might save a life. You might liberate somebody from having to rely on the medical industry. And we got stories after stories of people were so grateful they got over their resistance and their disgust factor and took their drink. Now, there are baby steps. If you want to baby step somebody, I know Matt knows the baby steps. Emily, do you know the baby steps?
It's my favorite thing to say. This is so funny.
Remember
what it is?
Actually, wait, no. Do you mean like showing people how to ease into it? Yeah. Okay.
So what are you doing here, Adam? You want me to just take it from here? Okay.
Can I get the stage? I love this one.
All right. Adam, this is for people to make a new neural pathway, a new association with the water. So the first thing you want them to do is go collect their water. Even that's a big step for people. Collect their water, put their pinky in the water, and notice you didn't get sick or die. Got that part? All right. Number 2, have them put their finger in the water and lick their finger. Notice you didn't get sick or die. So you want to step them up from the first initial taste to a dropper full, up to an ounce. When you get them to 1 ounces or more, cut them free. You got it.
Yep, that's baby stepping all right.
Yeah, and the other version some people are using is saying, well, if the people say, oh, I don't want to drink it, you say, well, what about a foot soak? Would you soak your feet in it? Would
Yeah.
you put some in your belly button? Would you rub it on your liver area?
Okay.
I'd say yes, and you just sit back and smile because they just drank it through their skin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So, not now, Chitta, please. Thank you. That was a subtle commercial. Okay. So, do you see how the baby steps work?
Yeah, yeah. Before they know it, they've already gotten over their,
Yeah.
disgust.
Now, there's people who have known you for a while. How long have you been practicing Shivambu?
2019. Was it? 2020.
Okay, 3 years.
2020. Yeah.
3 years. Are there people who have known you during those last 3 years?
Yes.
All right, they're still in your life. You didn't spook them off.
Only my immediate family.
Okay, the reason I brought that point up, Adam, is people watch you get healthier. People watch your lifestyle improve. People watch your vitality and your energy. And they're going to ask you, what's your secret? What are you doing? I mean, people look at me and they can't believe I'm 69. So if you have a lifestyle that works and you brought together all the different foundational pillars of health, and this is a point I wanted to make earlier, Adam, why people ask the question, is urine therapy heal everything? Will it be working for everybody? Well, the answer is yes and no. Now, the reason I say no, which seems like a bold statement from the big P drinking guru, the reason I say no is because if people don't change anything in their life, it's going to be hit or miss where the results are going to last. It's more like a Band-Aid. If you're still eating crap, if you're still eating processed food and high acid food and mucus forming food and inflammatory food, that's going to be a lot harder on your system, not only to break down, but to be able to get better. And if you still have unexpressed emotions, if you don't have a positive state of mind, if you don't have any spiritual practices, these all can slow down the process.
Right. I think of it like a lifestyle.
Definitely, it's a lifestyle. And the people who do it right, they're the ones who are determined to get well. A lot of the people who come to me, and they're going to start coming to Emily and Chitta and you if you decide to be a teacher, is you can feel the anxiety. They're hopeless. They're desperate. They want to know how to get healthier. They want to know how to maintain a long life. And so you teach them how to do this. And once they built it into their life, they're good to go. You got to practice it and practice it. It's not a hit or miss thing. It's not like, oh, I did urine therapy last week.
Do you treat the topical application as just as important as ingesting it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's a different delivery system. Like if you snort it or drink it up the nose, have you heard about doing that yet?
I haven't drunken it through the nose. I've used it in a neti pot.
Okay. Emily, you wanted to let them know, explain to them why a neti pot is not as effective going up into the brain as snorting it?
Well, I've personally never used that system, the neti pot, but I'd say that snorting it is probably the closest way you're going to get yourself to drink it. When drinking it through the nose is difficult because you have to train yourself to kind of breathe it up, but also you're going to swallow it. And I've only done that recently, but you get a little dropper actually. You get a little dropper, and then you just take it in your water, and then do this.
Pop it back.
Okay.
And just snort it up, and it trains yourself to get used to having it in your nose, probably. But I don't
Looks
really know
doable.
why it's a better pathway.
Well, imagine if you're sucking it up into your nose, like the suction is going to really pull it back. With a neti pot, it just sort of passively flows in one side and out the other.
Okay. Yeah. He's doing it right now. Yeah. Wow, he's a master.
What
I
you
know
do,
that Pizza has some troubles doing it.
there's a muscle behind your nose. And when you learn to train this one, what happens is it goes behind the nose, down the throat. The reason it is so more effective than swallowing is because swallowing it only delivers it to your torso south. You want to get up to the brain. You want to get up to all the different regions of the brain. And most importantly, you want to rehydrate the 5 sinus cavities. So when
Okay.
you're either drinking and snorting it, popping it up, some people use a plastic syringe, whatever it takes, you're going to start opening up the pineal gland, decalcifying the pineal gland, and getting an understanding of things you would have missed.
I tried.
The neti pot just goes from nostril to nostril.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That sounds like a good practice then.
And for people who are slow starters, do that again. She's
I got
coming,
it all over
she's
my
coming out of her
face.
shyness.
Ah, it burns.
It burns. Just start off, Adam, by just cupping your hand and snorting it out of your palm of your hand.
Mhm.
And just try all different variations until you get one that works for you. Right? And then when it doesn't go all the way down, it pours out your nose the same way when you're doing an eye cup. After you take it off, some drips over your face, you go, oh, facial time.
Mhm.
And then once you do it, then you immediately get like your sinus cleared. So you get like mucus that runs all over because it's dripping down. It's immediate expulsion. So you have to blow your nose a lot, but that's good because then you're clearing it out. It's not like it's stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I've filled my sinuses with my urine with a neti pot, and then half an hour later, some little bit of it came spilling out in public.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll find snot and all lovely gifts right up there. But that's for some people. Have you heard of Dr. Sebi?
Yeah.
Okay, Dr.
Yeah.
Sebi, he was doing urine therapy on his eyes and he went blind for 3 days. And he kept doing urine therapy and then his vision returned and it was better than ever. And what he explained it as is it was mucus being released from his brain.
Via exposure through his eyes.
It was
Like
releasing down into the eyes and they came out and he was temporarily blinded for 3 days. So
Wow.
I'm not implying that that'll happen to anybody, but if it does, it may be a few days before you get your vision back.
That's one thing that has concerned me about doing things for my health that might end up purging my body of things that have been lodged in there for a long time, is that I might have a condition that I'm not expecting, that when it initially begins to happen, if that's the moment when I'm supposed to really stay disciplined with the practice, I'm afraid that I would stop like right at the beginning and think, oh, this is telling me I should stop. I'm like, but I've heard from different sources that no, that's a healing crisis. And you really need to kind of push through that because you'll get better. But I'm kind of by myself, and I'm concerned that if I really got into restoring my health, I don't know what to expect. Healing crisis that might occur.
Go ahead, Chitta. You're muted.
Muted.
I think enemas are absolutely necessary if you start to really suffer during a healing crisis. Without them, I would say, continue, just so you can get to the other shore eventually. But I have the luxury now of not making myself suffer. Granted, I've done a lot of healing. But there's still some, especially that lodge stuff, right? Like you're talking about. It's stuff that has thrown my spine out of whack my whole life. It's like coming up, and that's like wild, And so there's different stages of everything and whatnot, but basically I'm not really like suffering anymore. But I totally like give it up to slow and steady, sure, but enemas when you are in an emergency, when you feel like shit, what do? And you just take the pressure off your whole system by cleaning out the last bit of the colon, because the last bit of the colon is always reabsorbed. So like if that's dirty, it's constantly retoxifying your bloodstream. So it's just a way to take the burden off of the bloodstream to help the net amount of toxicity, because that's when we really start feeling like shit, is when the blood, I think, just there's too much BS in it. Yeah, so lower the blood burden, it handles the process much better. And then yeah, in general, you want to make sure you got consistency over challenging yourself, because this long term with this amazing. Anyway, thank you.
Adam.
Yeah.
What would happen if you didn't have any fear or concerns about what might result in you doing these practices? How would your life be different? Because you're repeating that. If you repeat that idea, you'll stay that way.
Yeah, I think I would get better a lot faster. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want you to remember this statement. You can write it down if you want to. I'm open to the possibility. I mean, I teach power statements to my clients. The first one is, up until now, I was afraid of detox and Herxheimer reactions. And then I would teach them the second statement, which is, I'm open to the possibility of having a smooth, effortless cleanse and restoration of my health.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
By the way, FEAR used to mean, as an acronym, FEAR, you might have heard me say this before. FEAR used to mean forget everything and run. We now know what it means is face everything and rise.
Okay.
Because whatever arises in you at any one moment is your moment of liberation or entrapment. Depends on if you respond or react to it.
Okay.
For those that are entering into intimate relationships, they know what I'm talking about.
Could you repeat that phrase that you said? I'm open to the possibility of.
Yeah, draw a line to the right of the last word. I'm open to the possibility, draw a line to the right of the paper. And before you use that one, use the statement, up until now.
Okay.
Now, these are very powerful, liberating, they're called sentence stems. They're incomplete until you use your mind to respond and change your thinking and your patterns. For some
Okay.
people, whatever up until now was, because see, everything, this is an interesting point here. Everything that's plagued us, hurt us, triggered us, scared us, caused us the suffering happened before you entered into this moment. So if you decide to take the handle on the moment, which not, you can't do that, but if you decide to give yourself a new perspective of it and be open to this moment becoming what you prefer, then you will no longer repeat all those things that caused you suffering.
That sounds good.
Yeah, the choice is yours.
Water hears your prayers, right? Like, you ever talk to your pee?
Yeah. What does it tell you?
It listens, I tell you that.
Just be happy. That's all you got to do. Just be yourself in all situations, and people will be happy to be with you. So, do you have any kind of illness or disease or health condition that anybody's presented to you? They want to know if urine therapy can help.
No. I have a friend who's got thyroid. She had thyroid cancer, but I mentioned urine therapy to her, and she wasn't interested in it.
I mean, thyroid hormones, right? I think urine therapy like really makes people feel better right away, in large part because of its hormonal content, frankly.
Yeah. Now I have a condition that when I read John Armstrong's book, The Water of Life, he'd mentioned that conditions like mine don't seem to respond very well to urine therapy. So I'm not really, haven't really looked to try to heal it with urine therapy. I just endure it. But it's I forget the name for it, but there's an accumulation of hardening tissue
Yeah, it's on the
That's
far.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can't straighten my finger out. It's like hardened and kind of pulled it taut and is in the palm. Um, and I thought maybe I could use aged urine and DMSO and soak my hands in it. Maybe that would help, but I don't really know. I don't know.
Okay. First of all, I want you to know that we've evolved in our relationship and our understanding, our lessons from our water, from the thousands and thousands of years. 5,000 years ago, the sacred scriptures was the Damar Tantra, and that was a Hindu document or writing in which Shiva tells his partner Parvati, basically Parvati, you know who Shiva and Parvati are?
No. Were they like married divine beings?
They were. And in the
Okay.
Hindu tradition, Shiva is the Lord of the universe. He was a big shot. So his wife one day says, Shiva, how come you don't age? You look great. You're still attractive as ever. What's your secret? So in outing her husband, he says, drink of yourself and you will know and you will live. And so he lays out this 9-year course. And when you follow it, you not only heal everything, you achieve physical immortality. Well, there's a verse in the course that says to do the midstream. The midstream, they say, is the best of the water. And then the next verse will reveal to that it's based on tradition and superstition, because at that time they had a belief that the beginning and the end of the water was representative of a snake and it could harm you. See what I'm saying? So 5,000 years later, we understand that every drop is sterile and neutral and precious.
Mm-hmm.
And how this whole conversation started because you point out John W. Armstrong and what he said can or cannot be healed. That was written in 1920s and then published in the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're like almost 100 years past that, and we have a new interpretation and understanding.
Yeah, I'd be really interested in any methods of application that might help with like deep tissue healing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Well, one thing you can do is hand soaks.
Yeah.
Get you the same bucket you would have soaked your feet in and use it for your hands, or use a Pyrex dish, whatever you can put it your hand in all the way up to your wrist. It's not going to just hold on. It's not going to just address the finger. It's going to address anything related to reflexology in your hand or wrist. So it's going to benefit you all kinds of ways.
We're not in the same part of the screen.
Hey, shush.
Oh, okay, Emily, go ahead.
Adam, do you have that happen in other surfaces of the body besides a hand?
Yeah, I think it began in either my right or my left foot, like the extremities. Just a very small nodule would develop along a tendon. Not painful, doesn't interfere with walking or movement or anything, so I didn't really think about it much. But that actually began over a decade ago, easily over a decade ago. So yeah, it seems like maybe just an accumulation of toxins or
That.
Well,
Some say
distilled water is excellent for helping us comfortably, easily, with a little less well, I mean, urine therapy is a little more effective, I would say, but also a little more aggressive than distilled water. But I think distilled water is great for decalcifying the body. It doesn't rob you of bad minerals. It helps to loosen those up. It's the most gentle solvent. DMSO is a chelator and a solvent. So it is dissolving things, but turpentine does that more aggressively. But water is like the universal solvent. So there's usually everybody responds well to solvents, it seems. I don't want to generalize too much for every condition, every dosage of everything, but yeah, the logic of accumulation and constipation on the cellular level to the GI tract, it's kind of, everybody, no matter what you got, it's kind of that. Like, I think. This is up for debate. Yeah, so still will help to just clear it out.
Adam, I'm asking Chitta to put in his website so you can reach out to him so he can explain some of his programs, protocols, and methodologies, which are extraordinary. So you guys can start communicating.
Okay.
He made this this blend for me. It's called Metabolic Magic, and like I was taking it right now just as a tea, and I find myself really, really fucking relaxed actually right now. Like my ears, they're turning red, but it's a good sign. It's the niacin kicking in.
Selfishly, I don't want to bring this up on UT meeting. She read my mind. It's like if you got neuropathy, like a niacin type therapy might really help because it increases blood flow to the peripheries. It's a pretty well-known treatment for neuropathy is niacin, but
Niacin.
yeah, B3. It's just you want to go to purebulk.com because their stuff is actually pure. And then honestly, you want my niacin product because I've combined insights from a couple different places to, basically it's one of the safest things to take as an isolate. You just want to take it to the point where you start to get a little red and flushy, but don't push that. See, my formula helps to calm down that stress reaction, makes it more like a real food that naturally high in niacin, and makes Emily feel relaxed. Thank you. But yeah, whatever gets that niacin into you, just don't push it. I think that'll help with neuropathy. Hardening is also a fascia issue. So, I mean, there's 3 things that affect everybody. It seems like nervous system issues from chronic poisoning, frankly, because the electricity gets messed up by badly charged molecules, I'm pretty sure. So like, positively charged toxins really go for the nervous system. And then you've got accumulation of stuff. And then you've got, there's a third thing. I'm just rambling. I forget. Sorry.
You got it. So I brought up the idea about health conditions and challenges because one of the things that are in my books is to how to design general treatment suggestions for people. And the reason we call them suggestions is because we're not trained medical people. So we don't want to get in trouble by making claims, diagnosing, doing the things that world does.
Yep. Thanks for saying that. I just happen to hear that niacin has been prescribed for over 70 years in high amounts in observed settings, and it treats neuropathy. But yeah, that hardening thing is going to be a process of dissolving systemically, I think, and you can treat it topically for sure. You kind of want to make sure that you cover yourself in pee to get the health benefits from it in terms of nutrition to your tissues in general and improving tissues in general, because whatever we drink or even put up our butts, the liver is very greedy for it, which is great because the more we help the liver, the more the liver can clean the rest of our body. But the liver is super greedy, so directly treating the dermis makes it so you get a huge overhaul of the body's whole hormonal system, and it really is actually in a way more systemic to cover your body in pee.
Yeah, I've recently started doing that with one of those cylindrical loofah sponges, and then a mason jar, and I just take my second morning pee. I drink the first one, then I take the next one, and I just soak that loofah sponge in it and get in the shower and just rub myself down with just that.
Perfect.
And
That's a great idea, dude. I'm not just saying that because the body, if you don't give it too much, it'll actually kind of suck it up. So you probably don't even have too much drip on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Adam. So you're saying there's a lot of different protocols you can use, right? The nose, the back, the feet. Have you experimented with fasting on urine?
A little bit. I'm not sure what to expect and what kind of benefits I'm going for. I just have an idea that it's a good idea to do it. I would like to do it with a little bit more purpose to heal some of the problems that I have.
Right.
I'm just not sure how long I would need to go.
Okay, well, your intuition will guide you, but if you ever want you can always reach out to me for consultation or coaching or guidance, whatever. I completed a urine day, 1 day fast yesterday. I did my own little variation of it. I was also including lemon water with cayenne and some orange juice and 1 date. But you'll notice, first of all, the reason you fast is so you can take a vacation from the slavery of food and the neurosis of food and the addiction of food and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So you have reservoirs of energy when you're not eating, but people don't know that unless they've practiced fasting. Somewhere around 5 or 6 in the afternoon, you'll notice you got a lot more done than you realized, and you didn't think about food during the day. All right. So deeper into the system, your body's able to go do a deeper dive into cleaning out material that it wasn't able to get to because it was processing new food after the next, one food after the next. But there's stuff that's deep in the small intestines and the sigmoid and your lymphatics and your liver that would like to go as well.
Okay, so you're talking about like fasting to the point of autophagy? Like,
Oh, I think you get benefit from fasting right away, frankly.
okay,
And then I'm not sure, like, the autophagy science is
Yeah.
real. Like, I think they're doing real work. I just think it's so much more complex. I think Sage would say intuitively, right? Like, kind of as the bottom line.
It's definitely intuitive. This is one of the PowerPoints for the Shivamba wisdom. It's an intuitive medicine. Your intuition, which is your guidance system, which happens to be in your gut, is there to keep you on course with your actions and your behavior. It's just a matter of really listening to the voice and not overriding it. Does that make sense?
Well,
Yeah.
we don't want to increase stress through the roof. Is that a different topic, or can I go to that?
Well, do you understand what we're talking about? If you're fasting throughout the day, or if you do a 1 day, a 3 day, a 7 day, a 14 day, most people do it in certain cycles, a 1 to 3, a 7 to 14 to 21, and so forth, because this is what people have been doing forever, and they found the results that way. There's a whole lot of social media groups that do fasting. We're just the guys that are doing the urine fast. It can be straight out looping, basically drinking everything you collect through the day. Or if you feel like, okay, you want some green drink in the mix, or you want to add some lemon in the mix, you can do that too, but you're keeping it as liquidy as possible. You're not bringing any fiber or anything else.
I did do some urine looping fasts where the only thing that I ate were some sardines in the morning, but then I just looped my urine all day. I did that for about 3-4 days straight and was out in the woods, and I noticed that I didn't have a single mosquito bite, and there were mosquitoes. None of them wanted a piece of me.
Oh, wow. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So you got the idea of the fasting all day.
Maybe it's the polyunsaturated fat in the fish. Quite possible.
It's the omega. No.
I'm not anti-fat. I just don't like polyunsaturated fat.
Adam, what about when you would go out like in the sun? You didn't get sunburnt then, right? What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's true. I would apply aged urine to my body once or twice a day while I was out. And yeah, no sunburn at all.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, you think that's what did it with the? I'm just curious. You think the rubbing was the mosquito repellent, or what do you think?
No, I think the fact that I hadn't had any refined sugar in like a week.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't have anything that they wanted.
Funny. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I did get a really wretched sunburn from being seated, and I was covered except for one part of my ankle, and it got so burned that it was like a bruise. Like it hurt to walk. It took me a while in the morning to get up and move around, and I soaked it in aged urine overnight, a few nights in a row, where I just wrapped it with a t-shirt or a sock and like tied a plastic bag around it and just let it soak all night in aged urine. And it, yeah, barely any problem. And it was like a 2nd degree burn. Like it was a bad sunburn, but no, the aged urine was it did the trick. Like I could really feel that, like I was lucky that I knew about that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's good to hear that.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's how we're supposed to live. I think it's how our bodies are designed to live. And the only thing that concerns me is the implications of it really are, it's kind of like, and maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's sort of like civilization ending in terms of just the industrial society and the profit driven, industrial system, where so much of what is manufactured and bought and sold is like a poor substitute for what our bodies pee out every day.
mhm.
And the understanding the implications of using our urine, it's sort of like, oh yeah, you can be completely free from the most tyrannical, vampiric, brutal aspects of our society. So yeah, they're
Yeah.
not gonna like that.
Well, you're pulling away and you're stepping away from the matrix, the agreed upon reality. And when you hit that point of being a sovereign being and you're liberated from that, well, basically your health, your joy, your prosperity, and everything is in your hands. They don't want you to know that because they want you dependent on their system. Because they've let everybody down, people are looking for urine therapy. People are looking for various modalities that they can take matters into their own hands, no pun intended. But one thing, Adam, see, you got to joke about this subject. That's why I write these joke parts of the books, because people are too serious. You got to understand that if they mess all our food up, if there is no food supply, if there's no water supply, right? We're still ahead of the game, because as long as you can cup your hands and collect your pee, you'll make it anywhere on the planet. So
Right.
that should give you some kind of level of faith when you decide to fast. Oh, by the way, you said you started in 2019?
2020, yeah.
2020. Did your diet change from prior to that 2020 to at 2020 and beyond?
Oh yeah, my diet changed, definitely. Yeah. I stopped eating things that made my pee taste bad.
All right. So have you given up meat, dairy, carbs, cooked food, man-made processed food? See, the reason I bring that up, because a lot of these things are in the category of mucus forming, and mucus forming creates the inflammation in joints and in wrists and in elbows and knees and so forth.
Oh no, I haven't. That is probably, yeah, I'm probably right there needing to do that. Well, I've been drinking raw goat's milk,
Mhm.
but I don't know if being raw would make it non-inflammatory or mucus producing. I don't seem to have a problem with mucus when I drink raw dairy, like I would, but it might be causing inflammation. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't want to preach it one way or the other, but if you feel like you're okay with the raw dairy, try it. There are the people who say that any form of dairy is not suitable for human consumption because that belongs to the baby of that animal. I mean, that's more of a moral argument.
Kind of reasonable,
And there are things that even baffle me. The people who do whatever they do in terms of dietary choices. One guy came up to me, says he eats raw meat and drinks his urine, and he feels healthier than he's ever felt. Well, that's way off my radar, but who am I to say what works for people?
Yeah.
So
I think for me,
you have to find your way on the food journey.
yeah, the emotional eating is really more of a struggle. That's more of a challenge.
Up until
As
now.
far as like my specific diet, I kind of eat what I like, but within reason. But when I notice that I'm eating out of an emotional distress, man, that really it bothers me that that's such a strong compulsion.
All right, you still have those power statements?
Yeah, up until now,
Emotional eating.
I would, yeah, emotional distress would make me eat foods that aren't good for me. But I'm open to the possibility of handling my emotions in a positive, healthy, constructive way that allows me to eat the kinds of foods that are good for me.
Perfect. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just,
those are good. Those are good.
yeah. So, and then there's a third power sentence. You still got your paper and pen?
Yeah, some of the other.
Wow. You've been organizing.
Yeah, what's the third one?
The third one is I choose to know. Draw a line to the right of it. And what this basically says is, Adam, every time you make a statement in your mind or verbally, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. You're telling the universe that you don't want to know. You're telling the universe to hold back the knowing. So start using that last one. I choose to know how to be more disciplined and conscious around food when I'm emotionally triggered. Or whatever you choose to know that would lead to the results you really prefer.
Right.
So we're coming up to the close here, but the Shivambu movement, we've come up with a statistics of there's over 500 million people in 50 nations that are practicing this sacred self-healing art. And so that means this movement never slowed down, even though in 1917, the Rockefellers decided to control healthcare on the planet and start to demonize urine therapy. This was actually where it started. But the movement was building and brewing, and the wave was getting stronger. And thanks to social media, it's taken more and more of leaps into the awareness, into the collective, that people are looking for it. And there are people, Adam, who remember their birth. They remember living and breathing and drinking their urine in mom's belly.
Wow.
So it's recorded in all our memories, even though some people can access those memories and some can't. Some people can remember their parents talking when they were in the womb, whether they wanted a boy or a girl. I mean, there's memories lodged inside us that are available. And one is that the water rule. You were basically a fish until you had to breathe outside of water. So why do you think I feel at home at the ocean here in Kauai?
Yeah. Can't blame you. I've been thinking about moving to Washington State from Arkansas.
Yeah. Oh, there's some beaches you like out there?
Well, I like the terrain. I like the land out there, the rivers and waterfalls, the forests. I've just always been attracted to that part of the country.
Adam's
I've never been there. Huh?
He's a really good artist, brother. He has a bunch of artwork and he goes out in nature and he does a lot of paintings and pastels. I don't know what else, but it's really great.
Are we
Thanks.
talking about that piece behind you, Adam?
Uh,
Yours?
yeah, that's one of mine. That's,
Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah. I actually painted a lot of that on location at night under a street light to capture that turquoise blue sky that would happen in the summer around 9:00 p.m.
And that's moss hanging off the tree?
Yeah, that's some creeper vines,
Beautiful.
maybe kudzu. I don't know. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to come to a close here. I'm going to make a few announcements. If anybody else wants to drop anything out in the announcement time, you can do that. The Water Family Directory, which I mentioned earlier, it's designed that anybody can find a urine therapy teacher anywhere close by, or they can direct somebody who needs a urine therapy support, a teacher, a therapist, a consultation. And so that's a great way to make that known to people. We have the Shivambu Hut. I started to put together, and if anybody wants to help me finish it, the Shivambu Lifestyle Store. So anything you need for Shivambu equipment, for protocol, for doing the practice, it'll be a one-stop shopping thing, including cool novelties like this. As you can tell, I have a lot of fun with this subject. Ooh.
It's gonna go on my bumper, my car bumper. So we're gonna see what happens from there on moving forward with my
You
life.
will. Yeah, put a GoPro on the back of your car, see what kind of response you get from people.
Yeah, really.
Right.
So Adam, love to hear your feedback about the Q&A and was it helpful for you today?
Yeah. I'm really glad I dropped in to connect with you guys. This has been it's been a pretty solitary journey for me. And, it's nice to connect with people that have been practicing and, have experience that can help me kind of figure out what I'm doing over here besides drinking my pee every day. But yeah,
I sent you my phone number if you ever want to reach out.
thank you.
Em?
I think it's very important that we know that we're all in the community, even if we can't physically be with each other for now, but having that communication is definitely a leadway to help us, self-reflect and even become more motivated to try these different modalities and practices. So I think it's important that people know that you're not alone, even though it seems like you're the only one doing this weird thing and no one's gonna accept you because you feel like it's so out there. Right? But I mean, like me, for a while I kind of took a pause on urine therapy-ish because I wasn't really feeling I wasn't receiving the love and the gratitude in a way. And then I put myself out there and I actually found Matt Senna. And I fell in love, like he's part of my water family. And it's just like when you totally let yourself be the surrender and you have this self-acceptance for doing urine therapy, you're going to find people that are like you because it's your vibe and it's your tribe. So
I hope that landed for you, Adam, because everybody that we've ever met, I'm sure Emily and Chitta could say the thing. Everybody we've ever met in the water family, there was an instant understanding and love for.
yeah.
And if you're lucky, like these two were, they got to meet in person and get offline.
Yeah, it was so magical. The first person that I met in like physically that practiced with me, and it was completely insane. But yeah.
It was beautiful. All right. Any last things anybody wants to say before we close off the call?
Nope.
Wonderful. I'm still doing urine therapy training courses. If you know anybody who wants to get really good at this subject and practices and know how to teach it, I also offer honorary urotherapy PhD degrees for those who feel like they have enough confidence and courage that they've earned it. All kinds of ways to support people, including consultations for anybody on the planet. So, anybody wants to chat with me who's gutsy enough, we'll have that talk.
What's
PhD?
Yes, good pun there. It is a PhD, and I'm a professor of theology. Whenever you.
I got a certificate from you. I don't think it's a PhD though.
You got a certificate of completion from the course.
Yeah.
All right, guys. One last thing. We do this a lot, and if you still want to play with me, a group hug.
Sending chi energy to you guys.
All right, guys, go seize the day. It's waiting for you. I love you all.
Thanks.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Love